Why is it? Alright, so, hey guys, and, let me move this a little bit here. This is like a new series I wanted to start. Barely any editing. Just kind of discussing, entertainment, kind of like a pointless rambling about stuff I like. So, this week there was if you're a fan of video games, or specifically the Resident Evil franchise, there has been a live stream, I believe it's called the Resident Evil Showcase, where we got to see another trailer for the upcoming Resident Evil 8. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Turns out when you don't have a tripod, the camera isn't very stable. So yeah, the Resident Evil Showcase and with the new trailer of Resident Evil 8, I just wanted to share a bit of my thoughts on it. And it looks pretty good. I do have a couple of concerns, but we'll get to that in a second. First of all, the gameplay seems to mix Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 7. I actually have a copy of Resident Evil 4 back there, but too lazy to get up. Which I think is really interesting. Both games have a really fantastic gameplay. You know, with Resident Evil 4, you collect the money and like some treasures, and then you could spend those money on grammar sex. Spend that money on buying new weapons or healing items, and it's pretty cool. And Resident Evil 8 seems to expand upon that. Apparently there's like a cooking system as well, which I found kind of weird, where you hunt animals and then you can cook stuff and that increases your health or something. It's weird. But the setting, which is also reminds me of Resident Evil 4, it's a village, I believe, but instead of taking place in Spain, it's Romania, if I'm not wrong. And that's pretty interesting. The visuals look fantastic from what I saw. But we'll see about it. Sometimes trailers tend to kind of make the graphics look really good, like with the Arkham Origins. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think most of the stuff's in-engine from the trailers we saw. You just, there's one concern I have. At least this is one of the concerns. It's mainly nothing about the game itself, but the port on the PlayStation 4. Because yes, this game is coming on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, but it's also coming to PS4 and Xbox One. I think this is great because primarily the reason is I never gotten a PS5 because A, they're expensive, B, they're impossible to find, and I probably won't get one anytime soon. I'm pretty happy with a PS4, and we're still in that phase of cross-gen releases, so that's pretty neat. That brings us back to Resident Evil 8. So, it's great that we're getting a PS4 and Xbox One port. The question is, how well will it run? Now, I'm a little cautious because it's a next-gen game and everything looks pretty and all that, but what will the frame rate be like? Sure, with Resident Evil 7, this game looked great and ran at 60 frames per second, but will it be the same for Resident Evil 8? Regardless, if it runs stably, like whether it's 30 or 60, I won't mind, and if it looks decent, but that's a little concern I have. And also the story is like really cryptic. I mean, yeah, you get the basic premise, you know. Ethan's going up against this cult with vampires and werewolves, which is, wow, it's probably a first for this franchise. It's always been about zombies or some sort of infected people. Like, even like Resident Evil 4, sure, they weren't zombies, but it was like a parasite, but like roughly in the same vein, sort of zombies. Resident Evil 8, they just bring in werewolves and vampires, which I think is insane, but awesome at the same time. I think that's one thing I really loved about the franchise, how they constantly shift and change and evolve or mutate, just like the very viruses that are responsible for many of the chaos. But yeah, going back to the story and how cryptic it is, I have a lot of questions. Did Mia really die? What the hell is Chris doing? Why are these vampire ladies interested in Ethan? And I guess the biggest one is, why are the fans obsessed with the tall vampire lady? Like, I seem to be like the only person around, at least the only Resident Evil fan, who doesn't necessarily find her hot. I mean, I guess she's okay. Found her more creepy than attractive, but hey, who am I to kink shame, right? But I think this overall mystery and confusion, in a sense, is kind of helping me, God, my grammar, is giving me more hype. What is the game going to be like? And the gameplay, it's probably going to be good. I'm slightly concerned. I hope it doesn't turn into another open world game. Like, open world games aren't bad. Like, some of my favorite games are open world. Spider-Man, the Arkham games, even the Evil Within 2 to an extent. But I hope things are still relatively linear. But, yeah. But it'll definitely be fun exploring the Switch and collecting guns and such. So, what am I trying to say? Resident Evil 8, it looks really cool. Oh yeah, one more thing, I forgot to mention this. Man, this video is really disorganized. They're going to include a Mercenaries mode, which for those who don't know, it was an extra mode, like a sort of an arcadey-like thing that was implemented ever since Resident Evil 3, if I'm not wrong, and 4, 5, and 6. And personally, if you ask me, the Mercenaries mode slowly improved over time. Like, don't get me wrong, Resident Evil 4's Mercenaries mode is alright, but like by 6, the combat system became so advanced, which, while it hurt the overall survival horror feel of it, was still a lot of fun. So I'm also looking forward to Resident Evil 8's Mercenaries. You know, in classic RE fashion, you unlock it after beating the game. And one more thing before I wrap up my thoughts on Resident Evil 8. Actually, two more things. One, RE-verse, like the multiplayer mode included, it doesn't look so good. And this is coming from a fan. Like, it might be dumb fun or something, but I don't know, was it really necessary? Like, Resident Evil 3 had Resistance, but from what I know, nobody plays that, and I don't play it because I don't have PS Plus. That's so stupid, multiplayer games having to pay for it. Anyways, and one more thing, I was actually playing a bit of Resident Evil 7 recently, replaying parts of it, and this game is really good. It's creepy, it's a lot of fun, and the visuals still look pretty fantastic. And the fact that I could run in 60 frames per second is another thing that impressed me, and that's really cool. So, I'm excited for Resident Evil 8 to conclude this incoherent rambling. Because Resident Evil 7 being so good, and it's been 4 years since the last Resident Evil game, I'm really excited. The fact that they're going to add vampires and werewolves, that's really going to change stuff up. Visuals look great. The story's intriguing me. Again, Resident Evil's not really known for having a fantastic story. Like, at the end of the day, if you're playing these games, you're here for the gameplay, but story looks really interesting. Visuals look great. I'm just having my fingers crossed that the PS4 port runs really well. Well, not really well, but runs alright. Like, I don't want, like, I don't mind if it's not 100% 60 FPS all the time. 30 or higher will be fine for me. And, oh yeah, there's a demo coming out, so I guess I could try that out on the PS4 to see how the frame rate is and if it runs well, so I guess this ramble was mainly about Resident Evil 8, but then again, it's late, I'm getting a little tired, so I guess I'll see you in the next episode. This is a little series I'm going to start, just rambling every Friday night. I find it kind of neat, like, because Friday's the time where we could all relax and, you know, do whatever we want. So I just wanted to mention Resident Evil 8 since that's the hot topic of this week. So thank you so much for watching, guys. See ya.